Recording in progress.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody. I'm going to say it's officially time to kick things off. Welcome to Crafty Crows. I am here on behalf of Jason Conway and the Gloucestershire Poetry Society. So I've snuck in from the Midlands of Stoke-on-Trent. So that's why the accent isn't from Gloucestershire. A bit more northern, but yeah, really welcome. Happy to see you all. We've got an amazing feature tonight in Degg. Is Nick here yet? Yes, I can see him there now. Yes, welcome everybody. I do not have a blurb that I would normally have to explain how things progress, but I do have a little bit of housekeeping that I want to explain to you all. So just want to let you know, if you could please mute for each poet. You can clap after they've read though. We love that. We love to hear the applause. The event is being recorded, so please only share poems that you're happy to class as being published. Like I say, if you do want me to pause it, though, I will do that. Open mic poets, please keep your slot to 3 minutes. So 1 poem, 2 poems, 3 minutes, though. Yeah. Please use the chat to share your bios, books, and events. We want to hear them. And if you press the 3 little dots, you can save that chat so you can go through it later, see what people have said, and you'll be able to also click on the link still at that point and find the books of people that you were like, oh, I liked them. So yeah, crack on with that with yourselves. The GPS is a volunteer-led society. Please spare a donation if you can, or consider joining with a society membership. My amazing co-host Peter Lay will be sharing how to do that in the chat throughout the event, won't you, mate? So brilliant. Thank you for that. I'm going to share a running order for you for the first half. The feature, our wonderful Nick Degg, is going to be on in the first half. He's going to see the first half out, and then we'll take a little break. And after that, we'll have more open mic. But this is so I'm just going to pop it in the chat for you. But before we start, we don't like to make you jump in. So I'm going to share a poem with you first. Let me get it up for you. This poem is called Subsidence or Subsidence, depending on your accent. If I lay on my side, I could roll from one end of the lounge to the other, like it was a grassy hill. Books propped up the legs of one end of the coffee table. Levellers. No ball games allowed, but toy car races permitted and delighted in. Pictures of the house. Half a doorstep sunken below ground. Windows on a slant, horizon uneven. A perma reminder that it wasn't a childhood exaggeration, elaboration, storytelling adaptation to my bio. The house was sinking, the ground gobbling my home, an invisible landslide trembling gently beneath our feet, inhaling our bungalow an inch a month. Try to describe subsidence to a child stuck in books of talking animals, borrowers and elves. Try to explain that the ground is too soft to take the weight of our nest. Try to allay fears, be nonchalant, act like it's normal to reside on a boggy marsh, swampland of druidic times. The child will still dream, the child will still worry that one day they'll wake on the edge of a cliff, the lip of a sinkhole, half the bedroom devoured by the maw of Earth's core. Thank you. I thought I'd share that one with you. Yeah, I lived in a house that was subsiding as a child.
Lovely.
Yeah. So thanks everybody.
Beautifully read.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So we're going to move on then to the open micers. And the first one we've got for tonight is Chris Hemingway. Oh, is Chris in the room? I've not been letting people in. So no, that's absolutely fine. We'll move on then. And I will update my list in a minute for everybody with who's managed to arrive. Have we got Lesley?
Constable.
They've literally just come in the room, but that's cruel. So I'm going to do a new list. Is Graeme in the room? Because I know that Martin will be joining with Lesley. Graeme, mate, I know it's really short notice there. I will readjust this list whilst you're reading, but are you okay to read now? You're just on mute still, buddy.
Yeah, I'm fine to jump in now.
Nice.
Now I've only got the one poem for you see. It's called Challenging Connections. And it goes like this. My connections chose to challenge the way the world thought normal. One thing, then the next, within the original order. And I went out to then decide I might as well try here, wherever that place would happen to be. Dyspraxia made me special, unique in how my work is able. As the neural connections made for diversity, I work with them, rather than seek to normal myself. That would ruin the fun of trying. Working out what works, to try and reach conclusion, seeing what would let me travel, to give me the joy of trying, experience what would never work, then find laughter along the way. Neurodiversity knew me. I just had to learn its way, how to choose to make and use me all throughout the day. In each and every place I stay, that is my dyspraxic way.
Move a spotlight for you. Oh, I love
Lovely.
that, mate. Loved that. I'm gonna continue down the list. Don't forget to compliment people if you love their poems as well when they're reading. We love that. So get chatting in that chat for me, please, everybody. I'm going to continue down from Graeme just for now. So Lou, are you up for going next?
Yes, I will.
Amazing. I'll get you on the spotlight, buddy.
Okay.
There we go.
Right, so I'm new to this, so it's hard to choose two poems that sum up what I do. But anyway, one's funny and one's not so funny. So this is called Clubber Size. Oh, come on, it'll be fun, an enthusiastic friend said to me. You remember a thumping bass line from back in 1993? Of course, I'll give anything a go. Isn't that what life's about? Yet I approached the venue cautiously, wishing the way in was my way out. I see two middle-aged ladies clutching glow sticks in their hands as they wait to join the class. Is it too late to turn around? Oh no, I think they've seen me. Now I'm committed to go in. There's just no going back. Give my best, nice to meet you, grin. None of the people here resemble the clubbers of my youth. I'm in a middle-aged nightmare, appears to be the awful truth. The young woman who's in charge is much too cheerful by far. She hurls herself around the dark room just in leggings and a bra. We do our best to keep up, but heck, she's jolly quick. I don't remember it being this hard. I guess in my 20s I was fit. It's quite difficult to imagine that the ladies by my side, once sweating in a field, dancing through the night till 5. There's a gym bunny in the way who flings her arms into my space. I wish he'd piss off to Pilates and get her youth out of my face. I'm relieved when it's all over. Then I spot a lass of retirement age who's clearly been transported back to one or other rave. Her smile shows that she's musing on old memories, good and bad, before social media recorded all the fun that we would have. So I put down my glow sticks and swallowed up my pride, and I'm actually rather tickled that I gave the class a try. Phew, it was exhausting. I wiped the sweat from off my cheek, but I might just join the gals again and pop along next week. So that's one. Am I okay for another one?
Yeah, you've got time.
Okay. This one is I wrote last week for the 80th anniversary of D-Day, and it's called In Step. The older that we grow, the closer your memory feels, and now the cold sea of Normandy is gently lapping at our heels. I lean in and take your hand, you shake your head and cry. Why have I lived 100 years when so many young men died? It was as much as we could do to learn to march in step. We never thought it would be us who'd get it in the neck. You've still a twinkle in your eye and you raise a cheeky smile. You first shared it with your comrades, but you've not worn it for a while. It won't be much longer now before there's no one left to ask. Just a few lonely voices stay to connect us to our past. You wipe the dust from off the window to let in a smudge of light, and you tell us how the longest day became the darkest night. We left an army of you to make your beds in foreign soil, no arms to reach around you as I turn back to watch you fall. Yours is such an honest voice, we hold tight to every word. Its soundtrack now a distant hum, and soon the music won't be heard. You can barely hear the gentle thud as they all march in step, hushed together in the darkness. You know you'll get to see them yet. You utter less and less, we listen more and more, until you quietly lay to rest your breath on distant shores. I wonder if they could, will they all laugh and smile, then say, what kept you? We've been waiting patiently such a long time for this day. There you go.
Oh, everybody unmute and applaud. That was brilliant.
That's it.
That's the first time you've ever read on an open mic?
I've done a few in some pubs, which is awkward, but it's a different experience. To people who play music and do other things, so it's nice just to do it with people who write. So
Yeah. Well, we were in for a treat there. I'm glad you came along and I'm glad you did it.
oh, great. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, loved that. That was
Yes.
beautiful. Come again and check out other events that will be shared in the links as well. I run another open mic myself, so that you might enjoy. And it's got nice gentle vibes to it as well.
Yeah,
Like all
thank
of
you.
these do. These are beautiful, safe spaces for us all.
Yeah.
Great little loving. But yeah, so thank you for coming along and sharing that with us. That was brilliant. I think next up, I've now got Michael. Michael, are you up for going next?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I just want to add Lou, great. That was amazing performance for
Well, thank you.
especially your first time doing this. That
Thank you. That's very
last
kind.
piece, I was just thinking of like some of those great World War One
Yeah.
poets. Just that was a very touching piece.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. I have a few, but they're all real short. This is a series of 3 tankas that's inspired by a great show that was here at the Denver Art Museum that was a retrospective of Japanese painting, but it was all women artists, which was a beautiful change from the usual patriarchal type of show. So these are collectively called Her Brush. First one is Bleeds. Heat bleeds through poem, wet ink poured into teapot, taste of each letter infused with fat moon silver, trips off tongue, drips towards truth. And the next one is Dissolved. Dissolved in water, rice turns from pulp into paper. Charcoal turns to ink, ink soaking into paper. Words wait beneath the surface. And last, lung to lip. Each exhalation from lung to lip to landscape whispers devotion, rides on wind to find your ear. Rain echoes song of heartbeat. And this next one is a piece I wrote in a workshop recently with Jane Hirschfield, which was a just once in a lifetime beautiful experience. It's called Wing. Pale gray moth on stairwell window, reflection on pane beats in reverse. Spiral railing imitates flight. My coffee shakes like wing. I drink bitter flutter. And lastly, a little piece called The Limit of Love. Satellites fly past planet after planet. Telescopes look further out, clearer views from massive lenses. Colliders search for smallest particles. Technology pulls both ends apart, finds assumption shattering discoveries, and yet no experiment ever conducted can find the limit of love. Okay, thank y'all.
Oh, mate.
Lovely, really profound. Yeah, lovely. Especially
know
the
I
last
love
one.
Yeah, Michael's class. I love
Mm.
Michael's poetry. You know, I really admire your poetry, mate. I do. Very skilled and talented, and they were powerful. Loved them. Thank you, mate. And thank you for finding out that it was happening 10 minutes before and still managing to get here on time and share within 15 minutes. So, sorry I put you on so early because of that. But yeah, brilliant. Thank you, mate.
Early is always good with me.
Good, good. I thought it might be, to be fair. I've seen you often go early, so I figured there might be some poking from your end for that to be happening. So, brilliant. Right, Clive, I've got you up next. Are you all good to go, matey? Nice one. I've been warned with this one that I need to not panic, apparently. So, good luck, everyone.
Me. Uh, 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 I was going to read from a book, but yeah, not yet. I rarely drink, but I just fancied a drink, and I may have overdone it. People tell me I should be thankful for what I've got. In general, I am, but why the fuck should I be thankful for ears to rival the fucking king and genital warts? What? Did I say genital warts? I meant genteel walks. It's very posh in Swindon, you know. Long. Swindon. Where they all talks like this and thinks it makes them sound intellectual. Twats. Anyway, you're seeing me as I really am tonight. No sober mask. Sorry. Niceties. I mean, poetry's all right in the right hands, like fluffy kittens and stuff. But fuck you, Larkin, accusing me of being fucked up by my mum and dad. I'd come and fuck you up if you wasn't dead, you fucking coward. I don't have anger management issues. I just don't like people like that casting I don't know, what am I trying to say? I don't know. Saying things about me. Aspersions, that's it. Yeah, aspersions. And as for that geezer wandering all lonely and stuff, he should have had a bath and cleaned his teeth occasionally. That's why I had no friends, filthy bastard. Hygiene is the key. Smelly. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is a poetry night, right? I expect you want a poem, don't you? They fuck you up, those fancy twats who use long words and don't write about cats. This is a really excellent sonnet, but sorry, I need to go and vomit. Thank you very much. And that warning was supposed to be private so that nobody was expecting that.
Yeah, but I'm a bastard.
What a performance. Brilliant.
Mate, yeah, that was hilarious. Mate, you said you told somebody with autism to apply a filter. That's on
True.
you, bud, mate, to be fair. Like,
Oh man, I thought I was gonna need oxygen. I was laughing so hard.
that was wonderful, mate.
Oh my
So
God.
funny and witty, and the wordplay and the mix-ups that you'd got between them. I love them. They were very clever.
Thank you.
I love your stuff. Surreal, fucked up, funny, all that good stuff. I was watching people on camera reacting, and yeah, everybody was howling, mate. Brilliant piece.
Good stuff, thank you.
Yeah, and yeah, don't expect me to not have a filter or to have a filter, whichever way around that the words are.
And I must say that when I'm doing something like that that's a bit different and hoping to make people laugh, I always watch Michael Sindler because I love his reactions. So if I get the right reaction from him, I know it's working.
Well, I was unmuted and I had to mute myself to make sure that my laugh wasn't coming through. So, so yeah, mate, you did exactly what you wanted to do there. Really
Good
loved
stuff.
that. Right, who have we got next after Clive? Mixing it up. This is why I love open mics like this, because you get such a gorgeous mixture. Yes, Lesley Constable, are you ready, my loveliest?
I am
Oh,
ready.
there you are. Let me pop you both on spotlight. It doesn't matter which order you both go in. I've put you first, but if Martin wants to go first, that's fine.
I'm gonna go first. Okay, this one is called Courting the Waters and the River Avon. 1. The day beckons you to join it and ask you to suspend yourself, the workings of your heated mind to tune itself to a note that can be heard. Transform the tunings of your mind, each revolution, your dance in turn, your dance here on earth to suspend disbelief that you can join its dance, the dance of your days on earth, feet touching ground, face looking upward, feeling the sky, the clouds, the canopy overhead, cosseting you, to stretch the arms high, to touch sky, which touches you and you touch ground, and you reach the bank to touch its ground. The bank, the river Avon touches to get your feet wet in the waters that wind themselves through earth. And 3, you walk to the source you know from the inside, the Avon that winds and reaches to all the places of earth, the stretches of the ground you hold most sacred. The banks of this, the river Avon, your parents walked as lovers, and you emerged, urged into being by their words, from their talking, their words tattooed on you, words tattooed, imprinted in their walking, by their walking, from their walking, and you in love, in love, in love with the life they gave you, that you now, inside this, your life, walk as they did along its banks. The second one's called Repairing the Cracks. Why not see the cracks in the floor as not flaws, but their own entities, deliberate, perfect as they should be? Then the cracks become a river, many rivers coursing on their way to the sea. Fine cracks are the tributaries, wayward, meandering, and finally and forever losing themselves in the land to become not rivers. When I repair them, my index finger encrusted with pigment and white cement, I lay on the cool floor to work as committed to the ground, to my relationship with the floor as a modern dancer. Moving by means of knees and elbows only, I inch my way across, following the rivers. I become omnipotent. I am God, high above, looking down. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Can you take the phone out, please? Thank you. Sorry. Sorry about that. Following the rivers, I become omnipotent. I am high, God, high above, looking down at my work, and I am satisfied. As I work in the pigment, rubbing and rubbing in and then scraping smooth, I bless each small fissure, each turn of the river, rubbing in also as I work, myself satisfied, God, love, blessing all the small things, for I am large. The fissures are not a mistake. There are no mistakes in nature, only perfection. There is only time and process. I am large in the air and floating, reveling in the magnificence of all I take in, and then as God, I breathe out. When I exhale, when I exhale only love, the dusky orange love of rojo oxido, red earth. How perfect the color of red earth, the most basic and real of pigments. Red earth, I am grounded, no more flying. I am committed to the ground in the glorious imperfection of cracks. As I stand up, finally finished, and observe my prune-wrinkled index finger, I consider the possibility that my floor cracked just so a young child would come and visit me and lie on her belly just like me and follow the cracks, inching along under the bed, under the table, following the cracks anywhere they go, just as I did. And then, like the God she is, rise up high, so high, out of reach, omnipotent, and look down on her creation, the river that is my floor, the river coursing to the sea, and be glad. So sorry about the interruption. So that's all for me.
Absolutely fine. I'm gonna take your spotlight for 2 seconds so you can get some applause from everybody and credit where it's due, because that was wonderful.
Yeah.
Then I will re-spot you in a second again for Martin. Oh, that was gorgeous, mate. You know I love your stuff, so that was beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And don't worry about the interruption. It happens. We know that. Don't you worry, mate. So yeah, I'm going to re-spotlight Lesley and Martin, because next up we've got Martin Del Toro, another favourite of mine, with his gorgeous Spanish. So take it away, mate, for me, please.
Oh,
Thank you so much. The name of this poema is Boba en el Corazón.
Let me stop for a second. First, he will read in Spanish as we always do, as he always does, and then I will read the translation into English. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Curious.
Thank you.
Alguien nos lastimó en el pasado, en nuestras vidas, en el
Can Martin
tiempo.
move? Can you start again? And can Martin come on camera a bit more? We're not hearing him very well.
Oh,
Okay, speak loud.
okay, sorry about that. Alguien nos lastimó en el pasado, en nuestras vidas, en el tiempo de nuestra inocencia. Y hoy, alguien en el presente nos quiere sanar, ayudar, limpiar el dolor y experiencias de nuestra trágica.
Lesley, I'm sorry, we want to hear him and we're not hearing him well, and I can see other people struggling. Is it possible he can sit where you're sitting? Because where you're sitting, we hear you very clearly.
Yeah, I think
Sure.
it's just he's facing away from the microphone.
So it's muffling him deliberately.
Okay, okay, so.
Sorry to be a pain, it's just that we love Martin and we want to hear him. So
Can you hear me now?
we can hear you fine, yeah. We can't see you,
Okay,
but we can
good.
hear you. Yeah,
Okay, so I'll just have him say.
yeah.
Speak.
All right, thank you.
Muchas
Sorry about
gracias.
that. It's better now?
Wonderful. Muy bien.
Okay. Alguien nos lastimó en el pasado, en nuestras vidas, en el tiempo de nuestra inocencia. Y hoy alguien en el presente nos quiere sanar, ayudar, limpiar el dolor y experiencias de nuestra trágica experiencias. Mas nos juzga y reprocha nuestra conducta, modo de pensar, de ser, de vivir, de actuar. Nos lastima para enseñarnos el amor y el perdón, que somos importantes en el mundo, pero a base del dolor ha estado lleno una bomba en el corazón. Bomba de emociones encontradas, como una ola de experiencias que no deseamos, ni preguntamos tener. Dolor, rencor, resentimientos, inseguridad, venganza, que por momentos, no por el explotar, mas nada de esto está ligado a quien soy yo. Porque yo soy el perdón y la paz. Oh, mi Dios, qué miedo tengo de perder la cordura de mi paz y tranquilidad. Detesto enloquecer por nada, perder la razón aunque la tenga y ceder a lo adverso cuando la vida es bella y cada día es gloria, de gloria y triunfos positivos, sino odio, sentirse atrapado sentirme atrapado en mis emociones. Momento. Sorry about that. Emociones. Y texto explotar. Aquí. Detesto explotar, gritar por justicia para establecer que soy humano, con defectos, errores y muchas virtudes. Soy bueno aunque en el momento, ¿ah? Aunque el mundo entero piense diferente. Soy amor, soy milagro más hermoso de la vida. La mejor creación de Dios, solo que me duele lo que pasa en el mundo, en la vida, conmigo, con los humanos, con todo, junto. Es una bomba en mi corazón. Bomba en el corazón.
Okay, that's it. Okay, I'm going to read the translation. Sorry,
Okay.
that was a little bit awkward.
It's okay. These things happen. We have
Right,
tech
so
issues.
I hope you can see us too, because we're using his computer.
Yep, we've got
Bomb
you.
in the heart. Okay, sorry. This one's called Bomb in the Heart. Someone hurt us in the past, in our lives, in the time of our innocence, and today, someone in the present wants to heal us, help us, cleanse us from pain and experiences of our tragic experience, but he judges and reproaches us. Our behavior, way of thinking, being, living, acting, it hurts us to ignite love and forgiveness. What are we and what we are important in this world, but based on pain? This is what I call this, a bomb in the heart. The pump of mixed emotions, like a wave of experience that we do not want, nor do we ask to have. Pain, resentment, instability, revenge, that at times is ready to explode, but nothing that is linked to who I am, because I am forgiveness and peace. Oh my God, how afraid I am of losing my sanity, my peace and tranquility. I hate going crazy for nothing, losing my reasons, even if I have them, and make my way to the adverse. When life is old and every day is glorious and positive, wins. Hate, feeling trapped in this emotion. I hate to explode, to shout for justice, to establish that I am human with defects, errores, or errors, excuse me, and many virtues. I am good, even if the whole world thinks differently. I am love. I am the most beautiful miracle of life and the best creation of God. Only what hurts me, it happens in the world and life with me, with one hand altogether. It is the bomb in the heart. So that's it for us. Sorry about that.
That's absolutely fine, mate. Tech issues happen to the best of us, don't you worry. That was brilliant. Thank you so much for
Beautiful.
sharing. Yeah, and persevering as well, because it's not easy when we're thrown like that. So to be able to keep going, loved it. Right, we've got one more before we get off feature, and I love Sandra Bond. They are amazing, so I'm well chuffed that they're finishing off the open mic for the first half and leading us into, look at this, the Staffordshire has started the infiltration now. You've got your Staffordshire host, and we're going to finish with someone from Staffordshire and lead into a Staffordshire, our most famous Staffordshire poet afterwards. So Sandra, continue the infiltration for me, mate.
I said to the world's most sarcastic guy, "Do you want to get a sock in the eye?" He said, "That's very kind of you, but I think I'd prefer a sock on the foot." Yep, I am Sandra Bond. I am from Staffordshire. Only just. I live right up in the top corner, so it's nearly in Cheshire and nearly in Shropshire. But yeah, Staffordshire massive. Give it a shout. Here's a poem. It's actually a very new one, which I've only done once before. It's called "Contents May Have Settled During Transit." Perhaps I am a piñata, and the harder you hit me, the more I spit out sweet things for you and your friends to enjoy. Perhaps I am a box of cereal, and when you tear my lid off, you will find whole wheat goodness inside, very nutritious, very healthy. Perhaps I am a diet soda, and when you pop me open, you'll discover sweet-tasting caffeine, but none of that nasty sugar. Perhaps I am a can of worms, and you'll recoil from my contents because they aren't what you expected, and they don't seem overly palatable. Perhaps I'm all of these, or none, but you will never, ever know what ingredients I contain or how many calories unless you stop pretending I don't exist.
Oof.
And one more I'll do for my 3 minutes. This one is called On the Importance of Realistic Literary Ambitions. I'll never win the Booker Prize. I'm reconciled to that. I'll never win the Booker Prize. I'd sooner win some pucker pies, which taste so good with chips or fries, although they make you fat. But I don't care about my size. I've come to calmly realise that any literary prize would come as such a vast surprise. I'd surely gasp and stretch my eyes. I'd sooner eat my hat. Now, please don't think that I despise the winners of the Booker Prize. To pour scorn on those high-flown guys is not what I am at. But I just love those pucker pies. And that's the end of that.
Nice.
I'm just going to pop into the chat. Thank you, thank you.
Brilliant.
I love your dry wit, mate. You know I do. I am always know that I'm in for a treat with you. Love
just popping into the chat a link to my poetry collection if anyone was sufficiently impressed by that to
definitely worth a few quid. I would definitely recommend Sandra's work. They are brilliant. They are fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate. Right. Are we ready? Have we got a cup of tea and everything? And whatever animal to keep you company, or person, if you prefer people. Up now, we do have our feature. Are you ready, Nick? I'm just going to do a bio of you, and that should give you a chance to get on screen and everything, yeah? Are you going to be ready for that in about 30 seconds?
I didn't know I wasn't on screen, actually.
You're not on screen. We've just got Nick D written on there at the moment.
Okay. Do I press start video? Is that
yes, that would be a good... yes, mate, start video should be the badger. Oh, I've got a very wet cat that's just appeared. He's like, oh, feature. I always come in for the feature. But yeah, you're still showing us as black screen, mate.
Lens cap.
Yeah, could it be a lens cap?
I've got choose virtual background. Don't want to do that. Choose the video filter. Choose avatar. Don't want that.
There should just be a normal one where you just say no background, I think. It's these updates, isn't it? That they've done, and they've changed everybody's default settings. I'm trying to think where
press directly on the camera part. Don't use the arrow. Press right on the camera.
I think you want
Hey.
Mine says integrate. Have we got you? Where are you? Where have you gone?
I can see
There you
myself
are.
top corner.
See, top corner. Yeah, you're not in my top corner. You're in my second from bottom corner. I'm like, I'm confused. I'm lost. I'm only in Zoom and I'm lost. Right. I'm going to spotlight you, mate. But whilst you look all serious and stern, I'm going to read your bio and you can be like, that's me. That's me. Do you know what I'm saying, mate? Yeah. So let me get you on spotlight and let me get that big little bio up for you. So, yes, the infiltration has happened. You are in Stoke-on-Trent now. Officially, it's not Gloucestershire, it's Stoke-on-Trent. Nick Degg is a Potteries poet who takes his inspiration from the wrung-out dishcloths of everyday life. A multi-slam winner who has worked on commissions for BBC TV and radio and various organisations, taking in the arts, sport and education. He's recently completed, I've seen it, it's good, an A to Z tour of towns and cities in the Midlands and North West, all done in alphabetical order and in a classic car. Who knows what his next madcap project will be, but you can bet it will involve lots of laughter. Yeah, has me tears of laughter usually, so no pressure, mate. Take it away.
Thank you. Well, now you can see me. Hopefully you can hear me as well.
We can, yeah. You're all good, mate.
Yeah, brilliant. Okie dokie. I shall start with a poem I did for the BBC. Get that, the BBC. They got in touch and said, Nick, can you do us a poem about what poetry is? So I said, of course I can, and this is it. Poetry is a bacon butty when nothing else will do. Poetry's a cup of tea when you're gasping for a brew. Poetry is fresh and clean like a newly ironed shirt. Poetry's a vacuum cleaner sucking up the dirt. Poetry is a wheelbarrow when you need to move some rubble. Poetry is a telescope. Poetry is the Hubble. Poetry is an overcoat. Poetry is a shoe. Poetry is someone's lips saying, I love you. Poetry is a vehicle. The words are its fuel. It can take you up to space or even back to school. Poetry is read by cows wearing scarves of silk. Poetry is unconventional. Sometimes it doesn't rhyme. Poetry is a handshake or a hug from a friend. Poetry is conversations you hope will never end. Poetry is about honesty and very rarely doubt. Poetry is an angler's smile when he's caught a 10-pound trout. Poetry uses metaphors to get the point across. Poetry is both heads and tails, so it always wins the toss. Poetry is your holiday train waiting at the station. Poetry can be anything if you use your imagination. Cheers. There we go, there's that one. And the next one, it's about the mechanics of writing, and it's a simple poem called Typewriter. Fingers dance on the QWERTY, tippity-tap, tippity-tap. Type bars leave a back and forward kiss the ribbon doff the cap. Ink and oil, cog and sprocket, infinite diction, bottomless tank. Thoughts transferred into writing, brain impulse to mechanical clank. Cheers. And the next poem from this section is deconstructing a poem, deconstructing a word, and it's about the letter E. The Writer's and Poet's Guide describes it as thus. The fifth letter of the alphabet is a tough little cookie, not especially tall like a K or a T, but robust and compact. Very dominant in certain words like peach and neat, where it represents only half of the vowels, but bullies the other vowels and gives these words the E sound, which, to clarify, is the noise a Yorkshireman makes when he sees a pigeon. The letter E is English by origin, but was invaded by the French in the 1750s when it was stolen to complete the word fromage, but it was repatriated in 1763 and used not once or twice, but thrice in the word cheese, just to rub salt in the French wounds, and this is still cried about in parts of Normandy. Only the word incomplete would be the same if the letter E's were removed. Unofficial letter E's can be purchased in nightclubs. Sheep are 40% E. The letter E is also a popular vitamin. Some words that proudly flaunt the letter E are beef, sheen, excited, special, even, and testicle. Some words that are E free are cow, mat, happy, normal, chump, and bollock. I hope you enjoyed this educational interlude, and tomorrow we'll be discussing the letter 4. Thank you. Okay, that's all about words and letters and stuff. And this next section is about love. And this is my first love. And it was when I was 7 and I went to junior school, and it was my first day at junior school, and I saw the girl the other side of the class, and I fell in love on that day. And we went through 4 years of junior school and 5 years of high school, and she never spoke to me once. So this is for Michelle. You were 7. I was 7. You were heaven, but I wasn't noticed. You were noticed, though, with your eyes as big as bin lids, brown as conkers and as thin as a bike, with a face that launched 1,000 rubber ducks in my bath, scent of Kali, skin of Karamak, and as cool as a 99. I loved the way you said nougat instead of nugget. Oh, that was dead posh. And I gave you a dandelion, and you dropped it right in front of me. and that still hurts now. I'd even stop playing off-ground tick just to watch you skip. And even now, I still wonder, but I know you don't, because you never once noticed me. Thank you. And the next poem, if we move forward a few years to when you're 14 or 15 and you get your first boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, or whatever, and you think it's going to be for the rest of your life because that's the way it seems. And then at that age, other influences start coming into the mix. And I'm not sure if you had the same, but around the Potteries, we had a pot man. And the pot man used to drive around the estates and they used to wait and everybody ran out of the yards and said, give us 3 cherry aids and a dandelion and burdock. And he was the pot man. I hope you had a pot man because it's relevant to the poem. And this is called I Lost My Girl to an Alpine Pot Man. At 14, we were love's young dream with a Woolworths marker pen. Together forever, we'd write on walls again, again and again. When the future was the next Clash album, we'd hug and kiss and laugh. But you went spare when I spiked my hair because you thought the Pistols were daft. At 15, you weren't so keen on my habit of watching bands. On the rocks when I saw the Buzzcocks and you started to look around. But what could I do to try and keep you when singles were under £1? So you started seeing Dan, the Alpine pot man, who showered you with gifts. And with his overtime, he'd ply you with wine and snog you between his shifts. Now, I was at fault, but to rub in the salt, you'd be sipping Dan's free cola. Bear in mind, this was 79, and he still looked like a Bay City roller. So that was that. Our love went flat like an open bottle of pop. You went off with Mr. Shangalang, and I went to the shop. I bought Transmission by Joy Division because I love them with all my heart. It was never to be for you and me because music tore us apart. Cheers. I'll just have a quickie. A quick slurp. And the next one is, it's about my wife actually, and about the night that we met. And this is genuine. I walked home on the night that we met. And this is all about that. And yesterday we celebrated our 36th anniversary. But this is all about the night we met, and it's called Our First Night. It's 3 a.m, mid-tunnel dark and quiet as closed curtains. A whispered goodbye, and your front door closes behind me. My front door 7 miles ahead of me. Mid-July night, mild and still, the long walk begins. It's 7 a.m. Sunflower yellow, noisy as spitting sausages and milk float rattle. But nevertheless, I lie on my bed and I sleep so deeply. I lose a stone in dreams. And everyone, it's about you. Thank you. So that's the love section. And next we have a musical section. And the first one, I tend to do quite a bit with musicians. I do support slots for bands and work with musicians. And sometimes when you're introduced as being a poet, in a music environment, you see the crowd rolling their eyes because they think we've got to sit through half an hour of poetry now. So I try to get them on side. And I do this poem, which is set out like a song, it even has a middle 8. And it's really just a song without music. So this is I Ain't No Music Man. I ain't got a drum kit, I ain't got a bass, I ain't got a Marshall because I ain't got a space, I ain't got a Hammond, I ain't got a Vox, ain't got no pedals, ain't got no blocks, don't need bar chords, don't need a B, augmented 7th, and I don't need an E, don't need reverb, don't need echo, don't need feedback, I don't need a techo. Home with middle 8. I don't need a tour bus, don't need a van, don't need a gaffer and I don't need a man, don't need the drugs man, don't need the speed, I don't need the white stuff, don't need the weed, I just want a nice crowd, a couple of beers, 3 dozen heads and 6 dozen ears. Cheers. And the next poem in the musical section is Well, if I explain, you're going to guess. So I was leafing through Facebook one night and all my friends were putting photographs of the moon on. So I thought, I'll write a poem about the moon. Who is the moon? The moon is called Keith, and it makes drumming noises down at the town's end, where they commit adultery. And if you're quiet, shh, you can hear an ant whistle. Who is the moon? The moon is called Keith. There you go. True story, that. And the next poem in the musical section is called Where Do You Go To? Once upon a long, long time ago, when you were alone in your bed, I crept up the creaky stairs and I kissed you upon your head and on your back and on your lips. You don't even know my favourite song, you said. Well, that's where you're wrong. It's Where Do You Go To, My Lovely by Peter Sarstedt. How do you even know that? I've never actually said. Well, my dear, let's make it clear that I can see inside your head. Yes, I can. Ah, oh. Well, there's a surprise. And the next poem in this section about music stuff is called Jazz Poem. And I normally like to make me little notes as to where my poems are, but I forgot to do it. But I'll find it in a second. Maybe I won't. Oh, so unprepared. I hate myself for this. I can't even remember where it is. But it's called Jazz Poem, and it's all about jazz, as you can guess. Here we go. Jazz Poem. Hey. This poem wears a polo neck jumper, smokes Jeton cigarettes, hangs around in underground clubs with a goat's milk beard. It will make you tap your foot in an odd sock, nod your hair, and all of this in monochrome. It might rhyme, it might not, but you will wonder what is going on or off. A trumpeter's just joined in. I wasn't expecting that. And I'm writing this poem with drumsticks. The drumsticks are cool, man. Cooler than a pen, cooler than a nice cue, cooler than 5/4 time, cooler than duffel coats, cooler than a line that didn't end. Here comes a half diminished seventh. Here comes a G6-9. Here comes another pint of Old Peculiar. Here comes a Gibson 175. I dropped my drumstick down the stairs and Roger turned around. He thought it was a new beat. He really dug it, man. Jazz. Cool. Thank you. That's the jazz poem. I don't know if it was worth it after all that, really. Okay. Now, last week we had summer last week, didn't we? We had 2 lovely days. And I noticed the BBC did an outside broadcast in a Lido, which they always do when we had a heat wave. It was a 2-day heat wave. Now, for any of us who are senior enough to remember the summer of 76, that was a different matter. That was 4 months and everybody and everything was melting. So this is the summer of 76 from the point of view of a 12-year-old lad in the middle of the country. Sun-dried dog muck, like pebbles on a concrete beach 5 feet wide. No sea to speak of, just a road, an occasional lamppost and roadside. Quiet heat of sweating tarmac smells like oil and licorice. No sea breeze to whisper coolness, just a passing Morris Marina. Sleeping cat under a hedge ignores a bird 2 paws above, but it's too hot, even for the opening of an eye or a lip lick. Bicycles lie down in gangs outside houses. fences creak, hinges stiffen, grass browns, the paint bubbles, and the postman puffs. Ties are warm as tea loses its fizz, and women the colour of ties lose their will. Flabbergasted, they say, tomorrow will be even hotter. That's the summer of 76. If you can remember it, that was it. And if you can't, that was it. An education. Okay, another sort of weathery poem. Shall we do another sort of weathery poem? It's only a short little poem. And I remember one day it was pouring down outside and I was stuck in with the cat on my knee and I thought, what a wonderful place to be. And then, though it's raining outside, it's lovely being in this situation. So this is rain. Yet another Saturday turns into a Hatterday, a sitting with your cat a day, but does it really matter day? It's just another Saturday, and eat yourself fat a day, a fishing lovely batter day, a work and just scatter day, because it's a lovely Saturday, hang around the flat today, just sitting with the cat a day, watch the rain come down today, happy lovely Saturday, watch the rain come down today, watch the rain come down today. Cheers. Hopefully that's moistened up your living rooms. The next one is, it's actually not one of my own poems. It's a poem by my good friend, the Trent Vale poet, and he's not around anymore to do his poems. So I will endow you with one of his poems called Autumn Squillionaire. And it's one of the most beautiful poems I've ever heard, which is why I'm going to do it. If every leaf upon the ground was not a leaf but 10 pounds, I'd stoop and pick and become rich. Autumn Squillionaire. I buy a yacht and then a house, one more yacht, another house, a fast car, an aeroplane, and by the rain that falls in Spain, I'd buy up everybody's pain. There'd be no death. I'd buy that too when we could start afresh and new. No more tears or sad goodbyes. I buy the blind a pair of eyes. I buy the deaf a pair of ears. I buy their ears a set of cans so they can listen to the favourite bands. I buy up hope and sell despair. I buy the sun, the moon, the air. I buy up wealth and make it fair. Everybody has a share. Food aplenty all around. The only sound a happy sound. If every leaf upon the ground was not a leaf but 10 pound, I'd stoop and pick and become rich. Autumn Squillionaire. There we go. Now that poem was by the Trent Vale poet. And when I first met the Trent Vale poet, we went to a poetry night in Congleton, and we were discussing beer because we'd only just met each other. And we both loved Carlsberg Special. And when we were driving out of town that night, there was a lad running across the road, a bag full of Special Brew. So I jokingly said to him, what we should do is nobble him and leg it with his ale, because nobody would believe he got mugged by 2 poets. So this is the badass mothers of the poetry circuit. He looked up at the policeman, dazed and confused, relieved of his late night Special Brew stash by 2 wordsmiths with iron fists and velvet voices. Did you see your assailants? Can you describe them with a local? What did they say? I saw them all right. They were all corduroy and duffel coats. They both had glasses on and looked like bad teachers. They weren't from round here, from Stoke, I think. One of them said, give us your Special Brew or we'll break your armitages. And the other one said, give us your cans or we'll duffy you up. Do you think they could have been poets? Said the PC. I don't think so. They didn't speak in rhyming couplets. Not all of them do. Some poets use haikus, villanelles, and quatrains. Actually, now you come to mention it, one of them did say, the sky tonight is like talcum powder droplets on a black marble bathroom floor. Its depth goes beyond infinity and spreads into the sunken double darkness that swallows meteorites. And the sulfur chronicles nitroglyphs and blistered oceans of speculation spurt arid waters back into vortexial colloids before imploding to become doom showers that echo for millions of years. No, said the PC, they wouldn't have been poets. I don't know. Right, I'll just have a slurp before I'll do my last one. because we all won't get off for a brew and that, don't we? This is a poem about something I love dearly, and that is savoury snacks. I love Monster Munch and kettle chips and soapy tomato spaceships, skips and snaps and bacon fries and frazzles that dazzle and water the eyes, chipsticks, what's it, cheesy puffs, potato, corn maze and other stuffs. Taste sensations on your tongue, it feels so right. Oh, it's just so wrong. Crispy crisp and crunchy crunch. Just one bag with your lunch and you squeeze the bags in the shop to find the one that's full to the top. We all do it. And did you know a barbecue beef hula hoop makes an ideal crouton and oxtail soup? Oh yeah. I need some crisps. I need them now, flavoured pig or cheese or cow. Open the bag and breathe it in, or pop the top of Pringleston. Savour the flavour, do us a favour, lend us a quid. I need a quaver. Oh, crisps. I love you. That's me done. Thanks for listening. See you in a bit.
Oh, brilliant. Everybody on mute, please. That was phenomenal. Let me unspotlight you as well, mate. Nothing worse is there than being on spotlight when we're not actually
Phenomenal
performing.
indeed.
Wonderful stuff.
Oh,
Stupendous,
fantastic.
magnificent. Woo!
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
Please send
Rhymes
donations.
and songs are simply sublime. Woo!
Just
I'm feeling the chime.
right.
Brilliant.
Very
Wow.
kind, thank you.
I know the GPS donations, all that kind of stuff goes towards paying for their features. So please donate if you enjoyed yourself. And I think Nick's got some books as well out, haven't you, mate? I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I've
So
got one, Cup of Tea.
that's the one. I knew it had a witty
That's
title. I couldn't remember.
available by Amazon. That's I Come From a Town. Available. Well, I've run out.
There you
And
go.
the other one has just been finished, and that will be out in, I don't know, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that.
Nice.
we
Get the
need to
links in
bring
the
you
chat
over
if you've
here.
got some for that, Nick.
I
Because I'm
wouldn't
sure.
know how to. I wouldn't know how to link, chat, do anything.
Just
I
type
hope
in
nobody
Nick
thinks-
Degg on Amazon then, yeah? That'll do it, won't it?
Yeah, Nick
There you
Degg,
go.
Amazon, Cup of Tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I try to do anything on this, I'll lose all of you. I hope you don't think I'm being snotty or something like, oh, he isn't getting involved. If I touch that keyboard,
It'll
the
explode.
world will end. Honest.
Sometimes I wish mine would explode. I might get a day
Yeah.
off then. So no, don't you worry, mate. People don't mind that at all. I often don't chat in the chat because I'm so busy listening and just enjoying, you know what I mean, as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah.
some people are talkers. But mate, you were phenomenal. I saw you recently, obviously, because we shared a stage, and
We did.
it was nice to see you again. Loved it. Yeah, hadn't seen you for ages, and then suddenly twice in 1 month.
We all like buses.
We really are. Not Stoke
Taking
buses
up
though,
Yeah.
mate, because they don't exist anymore past 6 p.m. So, but yeah, that was amazing. I'm going to pop the recording on pause, everybody. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back at 15:15. So you've got 9 minutes. Go get a fresh drink and everything like that. Stretch your legs, whatever.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. So let me just pause it, and then yeah, you can all relax and have... That's how. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a lovely break and managed to get to the loo and didn't have a big queue outside or anything like that, and got yourselves a nice fresh brew or beer, whatever you drink. So welcome back. Yeah, we've got a second half of pure open mic, which I'm really looking forward to. I will share the list with you now, but you won't be going in blind. Like I said before we went for the break, I will go first as like a not guinea pig, sacrificial lamb. That's what you say, isn't it, Clive? That's what you call them. So that's your list. So you know when you're going to be performing in a minute. I have got a couple of announcements from the Gloucestershire Poetry Society, and I'm going to pop them in the chat for you as well. So next month, on the 7th of August, the feature will be Sue Finch, which is ace. And on the 4th of September, the following month, it will be Frank McMahon. Ooh. So we've got some really great features coming up. You were great too, by the way, Nick. I'm really pleased that I got to be your host tonight. When I found out, I was like, oh, what a lovely coincidence. I like that. I mean, it warmed my heart. Also, the Gloucestershire Poetry Society open poetry competition is open for submissions. It closes on the 31st of July. I'm going to pop all of that in the chat, and that includes a link if you want to submit to the competition, and all the information on how to is on there. And it's nice and easy to read because I've had a look myself because I'm having a sniff as well. So see you on the other side. Yeah. Don't actually do that. If anybody's successful, oh, that makes me so happy for you. Like, yes, I love success for all of us. I think it's beautiful. So yeah, enter, have a crack at it. Yeah, I'm going to share a little poem with you now. Oh, yeah, a little poem. I've changed my mind. I was going to do a poem that's about a subway in Newcastle, but I haven't shared it before and I've not decided what I'm doing with it. So I'm going to share instead. I'm going to pay homage to my teams instead. I'm going to give you a football poem. So, not sorry. Tough. That's all I'm saying. Some of you might have heard this one before. But yeah, passion. My passion for footy knows no bounds. The pitch is not the limit. My adulation for tribulations draws me back each week. I'll hurt my brain for the sake of the game, surround myself in noise. I'll stand in the crowd, be loud and proud for the sake of a bag of air. Enduring floodlights because it's a cup night, despite the chance we'll lose. Freezing cold with wind in my eyes for the pleasure of a winger's cross. It's every day throughout the year. I cannot look away. I see them dance upon the grass. Their nimble toes astound me. The craft involved, the thought it takes to react at the speed of light. The vision one needs to spot a pass where others just see danger. My eyes are bewitched by the curve of a ball, the way it drops so sweetly. I savour the genius, the well-practiced magic as 11 work together as one. I forget all else when my team attack. The world dissipates to dust. Anxiety is locked in a box as the ball pings around with intent. I count the stats that help us win, ignore the signs of weakness, put players on a pedestal where they can do no wrong, berate mistakes with curses, blame the refs or VAR. Never fought my team because they fill my heart with joy. I include England in that. So yeah, happy Euros to whoever wins. That's all you're getting football wise from me. Don't worry, I'm not that cruel. We're going to jump on to our open micers. You've seen the list. I think if you scroll up, if you've missed it, our first couple are going to be Jamie, and then we're going to follow it up with Richard Harries. I'm just going to pause the recording for the next one, and then I'll pause it again when they've finished. There we go. So we're recording again. Up next is another favourite poet of mine, an all-round stellar poet and person as well. I hope he's feeling okay, because I know that he's struggling at the moment. So sending you some massive hugs.
Thank you. My daughter has breast cancer and my nephew has a huge tumour and is being operated on tomorrow. So I think that's difficult for anyone to.
Yes, it is.
And there's lots of other crap going on as well that just is irrelevant, really. But
well, you're with safe people. We love you lots, mate.
Yeah,
give us
you know,
some
my brain just kind of scrambled at the moment. So there you go. If I falter or give up, yes. This is a new one that I don't think I've performed before, and it's called In His Honour. As a child, I knew my aunts and uncles, also my dad's cousins. My second cousin, but called by me auntie and uncle. I was born in 1952, soon after the war. Mum and Dad had both gone to war. Most of the men in the family had too. We were lucky, it seemed. No deaths I heard of, and there were groups of 10 and 12 siblings on the family tree. Then recently, I heard of one who died tragically. He had drowned at Scapa Flow, a nephew of my beloved granny, a death that will have devastated her. William Moore. Granny had been born Moore too. A chief petty officer in the Navy right at the start of the war, Friday the 13th of October 1939. The HMS Royal Oak was torpedoed. 833 men drowned at sea. I had never heard of William. His cousins had never mentioned him. I must have known his brothers and sisters. Nor had my granny, who did speak of the war to me, but I found I was moved and upset by his end, upset that it had not been a legend in the family, an ignored or forgotten family member. Maybe those close to him wanted to forget the pain, to ease the trauma, to be glad they survived. Or maybe they felt guilty that they had lived. But I want to remember him, to be honest, to claim him. I also hope that as he set out to fight fascism and lay down his life, it was not in vain, and that right-wing extremists do not thrive, having gained power by the back door, causing democracy to be in a coma or to die. Bless and thank you, William Moore, R.I.P. And a cousin, we WhatsApp daily, and she just said, of course, they're the one that drowned. I said, what one that drowned? And I'd never heard of him, you know. Then I've got a silly one. I'm going to be silly and do a children's one. I was walking down the street and there were two guys talking, and one of them said very clearly, you know, pixies don't like getting wet. And they walked on, and I thought, what the bloody hell was that about? So anyway, of course, the old mind started going, and this is pixies don't like getting wet. Pixies don't like getting wet. That's why they shelter under toadstools. They pal up with fairies to avoid the rain and use the magic to get inside the stalks. Use the domed cap as a roof. That's why toadstools and mushrooms too are full of magic when in special fields and woods. In these magical places where the pixies and fairies are, their magical traces linger on, long after the rain has stopped, and they go on their way. One day after a violent storm, and the enchanted folk had moved on, a small boy called Mohammed came rushing by. He had been naughty and was upset mainly with himself. He was so sad that he decided to run away. Over his shoulders, his rucksack, full of pieces of a broken vase, his mother's favourite. He had broken it accidentally. Then he swept it up and hid it, and when his mum had asked, he had lied. Now he knew his mum and dad hated liars. He knew he had been bad, but frightened, maybe stupidity, made him lie to those he loved the most. He ran his hand through his dark hair and was so sad and frightened. He wandered into the circle of toadstools and sat on the ground, which immediately he regretted, as his bottom got wet, so wet his trousers were so soggy. Oh, he'd heard about soggy bottoms mentioned on telly in cookery shows. He smiled for the first time since he had broken the vase. He felt the ground and it was soft. He clawed at it with his hands and the crumbly earth gave way. He dug down and then emptied the rucksack into the hole deep down and covered it up. He did not know why he'd done that. Another lie to tell. He wished that the vase was not broken, that his trouble would go away, and the magic started to work. There was a swirling in the air. The fallen leaves danced around. The ground erupted like a mole had arrived out of the ground. The vase, whole, perfect, arose. His mother's pride. He was transfixed with wonder and joy. He took off his jumper and wrapped it up carefully, put it in his backpack, and he started home. Paused and realised his bottom was now dry. Now that was real magic. He was thinking all the time what he should say. When he got back, his mum was there looking out for him, worried. He gave her the carefully wrapped vase. She was puzzled and asked why he had taken it out. Why had he not told her he knew where it was? He paused and thought and remembered his lie. So he told her the truth exactly as it had happened. She looked puzzled. She told him it was a funny one with an imagination like that, ruffled his hair, kissed him, told him again that he had a great imagination, but he felt good. He had not told another lie. He knew that he had done the right thing. So that's one of my moralistic little tales to children. I just thought a bit of sort of nonsense was better than me getting all emotional and depressed. So thank you very much.
A round of applause for Richard and sending you so much positive wishes I've got some similar things going on in my family life at the moment, mate. So genuine empathy coming from me, not just sympathy. When I say I love you to bits, I mean it, right? We've got you. That's what the community's about. And that was beautiful pieces. And the second piece, all I could think, mate, when you read your children's poetry is I love the storytelling. They're like beautiful pieces of fiction and I love them. Yeah. So love that.
I have quite a lot. I do go into schools and I do children.
You are a storyteller. It's beautiful.
And we just before COVID, we did a lot of work for the homeless. It was all musicians, singer-songwriters. And I would tell a story, you know, and I would sit them down and tell them something like that. That one wasn't written back then. This is a newer one. But there were certain ones that I did regularly. And I had, you know, we were just near the Minster in Hull. And I'd have a crowd of 30 or 40 children who had been taken at a school party coming out. And they'd all sit round me, you know.
Oh. It's very important that you tell your stories. So keep telling.
Yes.
It's really important. You've got a lot to offer, so don't think that you haven't. Just keep telling your stories.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you very much.
I'm normally moving on just because I'm clock watching as well, mate, not because I want to curb you from speaking, because we chat anyway outside of this. You're my friend. We've got you, bro. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to just, that's the only reason I'm moving on. Up next, we have got Beth Brooke. Are you ready to read, mate? Let me spotlight you.
Hi, yeah, I'm ready. So 2 poems, quite short. One comes from this, which is a book of ekphrastic poetry based on the work of the artist Elizabeth Frink, who's local to me, or was local to me. And that's one of her screen prints of The Green Man. And I wrote a poem based on one version of it, and it was nominated for Pushcart Prize by Hedgehog Press. It begins with a little bit from the Book of Common Prayer, so I'll just read that. O Lord, open thou our lips, and our mouth shall show forth thy praise. Praise climbs out of my mouth, clings to my cheeks like ivy on the wall of a garden, searches for the wildness and wildernesses in which to grow. The leaves unfurl, and soon there will be a blossoming. Bees will come, sip the sweetness in my eyes, and vibrate their wings in a hymn to abundance. My limbs will become branches where birds will roost, make chicks of eggs, sing all the while as though the world depended on it and we were equal voices in the same song. The next one I'll read is called Nakba. It was published in an anthology by She Press towards the end of last year, called To Light the Trails. Nakba in Arabic means catastrophe. We all are already deep into that night where the unspeakable creeps out. We sense the tapping of its spindle fingers as it feels its way along the walls, crawls to meet the rhythm of our hurrying feet. We are anxious to reach the safety of home where the lamps are lit and there are, we think, no shadows to disquiet us. We walk, try to keep ourselves from running, but the monsters of our unfinished business wait just ahead. Wraith-like, they slip in behind us as we open the front door, sit in our favourite chairs. Their rictus smiles greet us when we enter the sanctuary of our living room and turn on the light. Thank you.
Took me a minute then. I was having a problem with my mouse. I was getting my mouse to move. That was amazing. That was beautiful. That was, just gorgeous. This is nice. Sorry, I'm still soaking that one in. It's a good reason I was getting quiet, I promise. Yeah, lovely. I don't think I've heard you before, Beth, so it was really nice to hear you.
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
I've been once or twice to Crafty Crows before.
Myself as well, so I don't know whether I've missed you or just not caught you because I've been busy at that moment in time. But yeah, that was lovely. Thank you for sharing. So next up, we've got someone I definitely have heard before. I believe. Yes, yeah, I've got my list right. Namer, are you ready, mate? Shall we get you all spotlighted? Get that face bigger and all that. There we go.
I'll be reading from my book today, Saging Not Aging. I'll share the link in the chat. Chasing Poets. I gazed into fields of bladed grass, and my bones felt the cold at Wordsworth's cherished crowds, densely adrift as the wayfaring clouds, and of Brooks, eternal England. I searched sorrowfully for the strand that could tie my restless hand to the end of longing and belonging. The crisp air greyly blurs the awning, dimming the warmth, staining sun's vivacious gold. At Shakespeare's Eden, the apple eaten, and the sins repeatedly died for, buoyed by Blake to ride, thoughts soar, the wings heavy and lackadaisical, craving the heights of the astrophysical, dawn's song that sang of the metaphysical, of exploding colour and scorching heat, a light verve coaxing easy release, quenched by alpine streams, softly seeping. Browning's amour of April brings but icy showers, which douse and deaden the embers. Still, the senses longingly remember thoughts of the homestead abroad, where the heart Titianly thawed and the spirit sprawled in awed. The shepherds of Rossetti who save seek the flock that in turn saves, as they herd the arduous days and hours. The disturbance of Eliot's spring disturbs from deep within, her shades paled and grey like granite, as silver stealthily bleeds out the night. Where are the mornings whose chorus awaits the bird song that reaches the ear and makes one rise from their bed to cheerfully embrace each tiny tick of the calculating clock, the beats that race and breathlessly stop as a trailing voice is in the air. Cajole, the song bliss brings. Affronted by Larkin's bespectacled smirks, tolling up life's net and gross worth, desecrating the temple of the earth as they profit and pass on expense without conscience, penitence. Still, your presence, arms defense, the oration that speaks life into living, the company of the heart's thanksgiving, the joysome gymna of poetic converse. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Buy Naaman's book. I've got it. I've read it. I will testify that it's worth buying. There you go. I definitely endorse it. You're a beautiful poet, mate. You know I love your stuff. So, round of applause. Yeah, mate. Brilliant. Thank you so much as well. Okay, so we've got we've got 3 more poets tonight. So we're doing really well for time, which is ace. Ed, are you ready, mate?
I'm ready because my name is Eddie.
Go for it then, dude.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for a wonderful host that deserves a toast that we love the most. All right, my name is Ed Potasso, feeling fantastic. Please, in time, you can join my rhyme, thoughtful, sublime. I got 2 pieces, so I won't take too much time. My first piece is called Kerfuffle. Many battles overseas, please, no guilt, please. I feel the bullet in my chest, the bombardment of stress, the drowning in media, the struggles of multimedia, the downpours of cries, the eruption was roaring in sighs. I know guilt is unbearable, but please don't feel terrible. What are you talking about? Please don't shout. Things change every day. The chaos will go away. Not now, but maybe someday. Peace will be on its way. The sun will drown out the rain. The prayers won't be in vain. Remember, hope is always there, offering peace, harmony, and care. The mayhem will come to an end. Please have hope, my unknown friend. Thank you. And the last one is called Things That Go Downhill Fast. Things that go downhill fast. Life laughs at our plans. Agenda going through our hands. It's not our fault when reality comes to a halt. We try to make it work. Forcing something does hurt. We all want it to come true as fish swim in the blue. Life doesn't work like that. It won't feel like a glove or a hat. Yet people try before they sigh, cry, or die. Watching them cry storm within their delusional dorm. Error wants it to be perfect. It's not. What do you expect? Life is not a script or a play. Every day it goes its own way. Please don't beat yourself up or sit there like a stump. You have to quickly adapt from the punches or slaps. Life is never easy. Hope I'm not sounding cheesy. Life is rough and hard. Act or not, but be on your guard. Thank you.
Oh, that was amazing, mate. Thank you so much. You know, I love me some Ed Poetastic. And I do love your intro. It always makes me smile.
Great energy too.
Yeah, oh yeah. Ed's energy is beautiful, mate. I love Ed. Oh, thank you, mate. Yes. Right, we've got 2 more, I think. Right. So, Deirdre, are you ready to go if I pop you on spotlight, my dearest?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for letting me join you tonight. I've loved it. Brilliant. I'm going to read you a little bit from my new book, The Mermelf, A Fable for Our Times. And it's Once Upon a Truth, a lost mermaid from the stars arrives in Storyhenge astride her fireflyer. And I'll just read you a small section. A long time ago into the future. It takes a long time to become young, and even longer to stay that way, unless you can fly faster than blue bots zigzagging the skies. Earth is old now, even older since the nomenclatures became our rulers. Like every ruler ever made, only a certain number of numbers, 12 to be exact, can fit into their shaping of the world. I fitted into a word I saw and heard, but could never bring myself to write, not wanting to give power to those with neither heart nor imagination. But if there is another one like me, this tale is map. They tell me my name was Anna back then. I don't remember, but my number is as clear as day, 2503A. They taught us numbers, but only a few were taught how to scribe. We were seditious, and everyone knows what happens when we seditious meet words. Anarchy, they said. Every word they did not like began with the letter A. There was Anastasia for one. She led a revolt far off in the Arctic wastes, and the image of her once graced every billboard before they tore them all down. She too had wings, raven black. They said she was a myth. They said she was made up. There was no such thing as humans who could fly. That was all barbarity. They said that all such thought and talk was wrong. They said they'd teach us how to think right. We were anomaly, throwbacks, rejects, as out as stereo or radio. I lived with the others in the outer skirts. One day I saw a picture of a dress from another age. It had skirt after skirt heaped one upon the other. Each one looked soft as spider silk, not like our outer skirt, old barn houses or regulation tent. Hunger drove each day in that icy waste. Only the biggest could grab protein drops by bots immune to harmful contagion. The protein sacks smelled of newly sprouted stinkhorns and were marked with smiling skulls. I ate with the old and the very young in a small non-genetically made forest, a half-day's walk from our outer skirt. Their winds scattered sycamore leaves, bounced off old trunks, and rested in silver birch. And there were creatures that flew, not mechanical bots, but flesh and blood creatures of feather and curious eye. We called her head. She taught us to gather berry, nut, egg, and fruit better by far than that mulch and protein sacks, tasty too. Told us tales of bygone times when our kind worked in tandem with all growing things. When what we saw was seen as vision, when what we were was received as blessing. Hedge brought us back from the brink and then guided us to the air. For each of us were, like all living things, quite special, as we came into this world marked by Griffin, the birthmark that allowed them to banish us, the mark that on each of us was blue. Thank you very much.
Oh, that was gorgeous. Look at this. This is why I like to host, because I just get to hear so much beautiful and eclectic and diverse poetry. Yeah, that was gorgeous, mate. Thank you so much for coming along and sharing with us. Right, we've only got one more left. I'm sad it's over so quickly. That has flown. We'll finish up then. And you told me your name two different ways, so I'm going to call you the Silver Lion Poet. That's how I'm going to introduce you. Polovsky Moore. Let me get you up on the big screen. There we go. It's lovely to meet you. Take it away.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Perfectly, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you could hear me. I was having problems earlier, so I was on a call before this, so I just want to make sure you could actually hear me. The first poem that I would like to share is a poem that was published in the anthology, the Sandcutters anthology, and it's an ekphrastic poem inspired by Gustav Klimov's 1875 painting, in which there are three workers who are on their hands and knees, and they are scraping the wood floor of this beautiful, exquisite apartment that they could never in their lifetime ever afford. So the title of the poem is Gustav Klimov's The Floor Scrapers. The splinters are the least of it. Our backs have ached since we were boys, blessed to be strong enough to survive the scourge of disease, the rotting claw of hunger, strong enough to work until calloused fingers bled through dusty bandages, because there are no handouts, only labor, life longing. We work with our hands, but it is a fragile arrangement. We are an injury away from starvation, from being street trash, kicked aside by a politician's boot. Pale skin and bone tired, strong, sinewy, shaped, bend like broken cranes, weak cut, curl, scrape, as pieces of soul, fragments of flesh, fancy the floors of a splendid face. This will be a beautiful room. One day, I will pass on the street, look up and be proud. For now, the pungent smell of varnish burns the nostrils, and we are sepia shadows, shaping the dreams of tomorrow. And the last poem I would like to share is a poem of hope. And the title of the poem is Perspective. And I wrote this coming from a hopeful place with all of the different issues that we have here that are going on in the States. So, I am Black. My eyes are brown and deep. Pinky hair, dark skin do not complete who I am. I am at once one and many, for there is more to me than we. I am a brilliant shade, descending from an ancient spectrum. I am not a threat or stained statistic for political agendas. I am not a cover for those who cower behind ignorance and prejudice. I am not an expectation or callous caricature to assuage your guilt. I am mother, father, son, daughter, sister, brother. I am you. I am devotion, family, honor. I dream, I struggle, rise. Your kind eyes should see me in the fair light that beams from inside. There is more to learn when the open mind chooses life, not race. Thank you.
Oh, I feel like I dropped on popping you on at the end there, mate, because that was a stunning way to end the show. They were some stonking poems. I need to find you on social media because you are a poet, massive, massive P. Yeah, you were brilliant, mate.
Thank you.
That was gorgeous. Yes. Oh, you've all been amazing tonight, and it's been my absolute honor to host on behalf of the Gloucestershire Poetry Society. I hope you all enjoyed yourself. Nick, you were mwah. Yeah, you had me laughing, chuckling, all the good stuff, all the things you want from me, you got. Do you know what I'm saying, mate?
Thank you.
You know I rate your poetry. I think you're brilliant. And it was my honor as well as a fellow Stokey to be the one that got to introduce you and stuff. But it was a nice coincidence. I like the
Nice. Cheers, Ian.
Nice one. Yeah, I'm going to stop the recording now. Everybody's been amazing. Every single one of you open micers lit me up. That is some gorgeous soul food. I was tired beforehand, but now I'm feeling like, oh, I'm full of poetic energy. So yeah, thank you for doing that to me, every single one of you. Yeah, so let's stop the recording.